kind of like as pointy as our eyeliner used to be back in 2015, just like that. We want it nice and pointy.
Love you forever if you don't believe in me. Yeah.
Straight from the 8, I'm walking with God, I don't need a drink. The devil be talking, I don't entertain. I'm walking in faith, I'm sowing my seed, I did it in faith. I gave it to God, and he made it great.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. As you guys can tell from the title, we are going to be filming a video all about spikes, closed fans, wide fans, narrow fans, whatever you guys want to call them. But these are the topics that I broke them up into. Again, these are personally how I make these type of sets, why they are unique to me, and how they work for me and benefit me within my sets. So if this is a topic that interests you, then just keep on watching. Alrighty guys, we're just gonna get right into it. If you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my phone. I write all my notes down so that I don't get lost. I will be having side-by-sides of a demonstration of exactly what I'm talking about, as well as pictures. Anyways, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. So first things first, these are the products that we're gonna be using. Again, all KIARA Sky. Don't forget to use code LASHES10 so that you can save money off your order. I know that's right. First things first, lashes. We're using 0.05, 0.07, and 0.03. Typical for creating these type of fans, pretty much any fan, any type of set that you're doing, cashmere lashes only. They're my favorite lashes to use when it comes to making spikes, narrow fans, closed fans, wide fans, wet set fans, whatever you want to call them. I love cashmere lashes. That's just personally my preference and type of lashes that I like to use. I feel like it works a lot easier. I feel like it's easier to lash with. So that's personally what I like to use. And I love the way that these come off the strip. And I love the fact that these lashes are true to curl. We all know, being in the industry for a long time, using plenty of different lash trays, the number one problem that I run into is having a true curl and a true curl that lasts. They're just the best. They're just the bomb. What is more to say? The second thing you'll need is a perfect or bomb pair of tweezers. My tweezer choice today is going to be the 90-degree fiber grip tweezer. Now, personally, from experience, the best type of tweezers to use when it comes to picking up spikes or fans or whatever you want to call them, closed fans, is to use a fiber grip tweezer, and also to lash faster. And who doesn't want that when it comes to lashing? Ain't nobody got time to sit there and create a fan all day. We want that one tweezer to get the job done, and that is a fiber grip tweezer. You could use a normal lash tweezer if you choose to. However, I personally prefer a fiber grip tweezer. That's just, again, my personal preference. Whatever works best for you, but again, it just makes my life so much easier, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make my lashing life that much easier and my time that much quicker. So the next thing that you're gonna need is a really good bomb glue, and a glue that is to your speed, whether you are fast, you are slower, or you're kind of in between. I'm personally gonna use my KIARA Sky black adhesive. As always, it's my personal favorite from the KIARA Sky line. I love it. I love a good black glue. It's a really thin viscosity, and the retention is fire. I feel like it's fast, but it's not too fast to the point that it's crystallizing before you go ahead and put on your lash. I personally like it a little bit colder and then a little bit more moist. That's just my personal preference when it comes to lashing. So that's the glue that I'm using today. If you have to, babes, you're gonna have to spend the money on a good quality glue. If there's one thing I cannot stress enough, if there's one thing you're gonna take away from this video, spend the coin, honey, to have a really good quality glue. It's gonna make your life so much easier, especially when it comes to making these spikes. Like, you need a good glue. The last and final thing you're gonna need is either glue rings or glue cups. I personally love to use these glue cups right here. I love putting a glue cup on my tile. I'm clumsy as heck when it comes to using a glue ring. I have gotten glue on somebody's forehead one time and literally gave them a wax. Okay, it's not cute. I'm clumsy. I don't know how the girlies use glue rings. If you can, that is awesome, because honestly, they're so aesthetically pleasing to watch people make fans and to watch them fan with a glue ring. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Girl, I don't know, but I'm clumsy, so I can't use a glue ring. It's just out of the jurisdiction for me. I love using the glue cups or the glue rings preferably because they do have the open rigids or grooves or whatever you want to call them. That makes it a lot easier for you to help close up your spike or your fan, thus making your time a lot faster. Instead of sitting there and having to play with it so much, you can just go ahead and dip your fan into the glue, wipe it out, and as you guys can see, it just really closes up your fan, your base of your fan. No matter what type of fan you are making, whether it is closed, narrow, open, slightly open, whatever, you want to make sure that your bases are snatched no matter what. You do not want to see a square base. This will cause irritation, this will cause poking, and it won't be able to wrap around the natural lash right, and it just looks funny. Your client will go in and start playing and poking at it. You know that satisfying feeling when you're just sitting there like, you know, they're gonna feel the base. Whatever you can do so that base is nice and snatched and at a point like a cone, you know, like kind of like as pointy as our eyeliner used to be back in 2015, just like that. We want it nice and pointy. Okay, so now that we got all that out of the way, we talked about products, we talked about disclaimers, everything, let's go ahead and get actually right into it. So this is how I'm gonna categorize each and every fan, and this is how I personally like to name my spikes or fans, whatever you wanna call it. So we have spikes, we have closed fans, or we have super narrow closed fan spikes. First things first is spikes, okay? They are supposed to come at a complete point at the tip. These are perfect for wet sets and super dramatic lashes. For example, here's a set right here, and here's another set. So as you guys can see, it's giving drama, it's giving baddie, it's giving I want to make an impression, I want you to see my lashes, I want you to stare at my eyeballs. That's what they're giving, and I love them. My favorite diameters to make a complete closed spike is using 0.12s and 0.07s. Now I know that sounds crazy because I feel like not a lot of people talk about 0.12s. Some people will say 0.15, however, I think that's a little too thick. That usually is for a classic lash, and some people can't really support the weight. No matter what type of spike that you're making, you really want them to stand out, so you want to use about 3 times the length. Nothing further than that, unless they can support the length and the width of that. You can probably go 4 times the length to create a super dramatic set. However, I personally just always use 3 times the length. I never have a problem with it, and they always seem to stand out perfectly fine. So when it comes to picking up a lash like this, it's gonna be relatively complicating at first. It's definitely practice makes better, not perfect. The more that you practice picking up a lash like this, the better that you're gonna get at it. So personally, I'm gonna use 0.07s, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use my Fabric Grip tweezer. I'm going to go ahead and grab the lashes more towards the tip of the tweezer. The reason why you're getting it at the top is you want to make sure that you're not going to get glue on the tip of your tweezer. Now, this is kind of inevitable to avoid when I am making these type of fans and doing these type of sets. I will typically still get some glue on my tweezer. You just want to clean your tweezer with some acetone. That way you get rid of any glue, and using a lint-free wipe, it's just gonna help clean your tweezer really, really good, and then just move on to creating more if you have to. Take your time when it comes to making these type of spikes because, like I said, you will get glue caught in your tweezer if you're not being careful. So moving on to our second type of fan, which is the closed fan / closed spikes, whatever you wanna call them. It's just chef's kiss. There's something that it does, the texture is just out of this world. It really, really stands out. As you guys can see here on this particular set, how you can really see the darkness peeping through. You can really see those lengths getting mixed within that set, and it just really, really stands out. I love creating these are like probably my favorite type of fan to make because they really do make a difference in your wispy full sets. Whether you're doing a wispy hybrid set or a wispy volume set, this is really going to help make your sets have that wispiness really stand out, or that texture really, really stand out. When it comes to picking up this type of lash, you want to pick up in the middle. As if you're grabbing any type of lash in particular, I like to pick them up in the middle, again using that Fabric Grip tweezer, dipping it into your glue cup, wiping off the excess so it kind of closes, but you're still keeping that top a little bit open. Again, this is why I love using a Fabric Grip tweezer. As you guys can see, the moment that I pick up from the tile, I already have that slight fan I already have that tip slightly fluffy, slightly open, but still have that super snatched closed base. Here is another example of a set that I did with this kind of spike, and as you guys can see, you really see them stand out. It creates wispiness, it creates fullness, and you kind of can see like the gaps in the windows between the wispy lengths or between the lengths, and you can really see them peeking through. When it comes to making closed fans, I'll personally use either a 0.07 or a 0.05, preferably a 0.05. It's that perfect in between a 0.03 and a 0.07. It's thick enough, but it's light enough, so it can go with a lot of clients' natural lengths or natural weights to their lashes. You can really play around with the thickness when it comes to a 0.05, so I particularly like to use a 0.05 for these. My rule of thumb is that I like to make them slightly thicker, especially if I know that my client can support the weight. Last but not least is probably the most popular type of spike that there is right now, and it is called the super narrow closed fan. It's not completely narrow like a narrow fan like this particular one. As you can see, this is a complete narrow fan. It definitely has more of a range, more of a bouquet look to it, where it is definitely a lot more closed, but you can definitely see that the tips kind of sprout out a little bit. We're keeping that base nice and snatched. You never want to see a square base. Always keep them nice and snatched. So for the type of lashes or the type of diameters that I would use for this type of fan is pretty much all of them. A 0.05, a 0.07, or a 0.03. It just depends on the thickness and what kind of fullness that you're going for. So here's an example of a fuller set using those super narrow fans. And as you guys can see in this video here, you really see that those tips are really, really fluffy, but they're not super closed, but they're open enough. This will really create that beautiful, soft, butterfly textured set that I feel like are extremely popular right now. I really feel like more of a natural, like almost Ardell wispy lash is extremely in right now. So here's another example of this type of set with this type of fan. As you can see, it is extremely wispy, but it's not too full, but it's not too natural. It's literally the perfect in between and is by far my favorite all-time set to do. Especially if you're a beginner, I feel like this set is relatively easier to create as opposed to like a strip lash or even a wet set. I find these to be a lot easier because it takes a lot less effort making these fans as opposed to the other ones. So when it comes to making this particular type of fan, you do want to kind of grab the natural lashes a slightly bit lower than the middle section because you want to be able to have the tip flare out just a little bit. So when you go in to dip your extension, you're gonna go ahead and wipe off in that groove as always, making sure that that base is nice and snatched. And if you guys can't really tell, or if you can, it is a slight micro movement that you're gonna just slightly open your tweezer just very slightly when you are closing that fan up with the groove to slightly open it up a little bit, very, very slightly. We still want it to be as closed as possible, but still have that flare at the tip. I hope that makes sense. Beautiful, beautiful set. Absolutely chef's kiss. 10 out of 10. My favorite sets to create. Alrighty guys, and that is it for today's video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed. Please let me know if you guys like this setup and like the way that I went ahead and edited this video. If you guys found this video to be helpful and if you learned something new, please let me know in the comment section down below. And please let me know in any way or shape or form that I can make my videos better or any video suggestions that you guys have. I've been listening to all of your guys' comments. I've been trying to pretty much upload every single video that you guys request. So please let me know. I love you guys so much, and again, just thank you guys so much for supporting me. I will be having a really big giveaway coming very, very, very soon, so stay tuned for that video, and I'll see you guys in my next one.